Hi, my name is Natalie Harrington, and I'm going to take you through some of the basics of the women's lacrosse game.
Hi, I'm Ellie Cruz, and I'm a senior, and I play for Lincoln High School.
Hi, I'm Sophie Cruz, and I'm a freshman, and I also play for Lincoln High School.
So the first thing that we're going to go over is catching. So we want to make sure that when we're first starting catching that we're teaching our athletes to have their bottom hand all the way down. We want our top hand halfway up to 3/4 of the way up. We want to make sure that we're not having a closed fist when we're doing this. We want to make sure that we are having an open fist, pointer finger here, my 3 fingers over, and my thumb wrapped around as well. So we're not closed fist here. So when I'm asking for the ball, I want to give my teammate a target right out in front. I don't want to be too far down. I don't want to be behind. I want to be right out in front. So we're going to be doing everything from the upper portion of our stick, meaning we're catching, we're throwing, we're shooting, we're cradling from that upper portion of our stick, never down at the bottom. So I'm asking for the ball. As soon as the ball hits that upper portion of my stick, I want to be giving back into triple threat with my shoulders and both of my arms, meaning I don't want to just tip the back of my stick back like some players you'll see doing. You also want to make sure that we're not trying to snatch the ball out of the air. We're catching it in one fluid motion, bringing it back in the triple threat. Now remember, when we're doing this, we're going to be running all the way through our catches every time, or else they're going to get intercepted, okay? And we'll show you that in real time. For now, I'm asking for it right out in front, and I'm bringing it back. Notice how I'm bending my knees, I'm bringing my shoulders through. I'm going to send the ball back, yeah, with you, and I'm here. Good. We want to make sure that we aren't cradling a ton of times. 1 or 2 cradles is totally fine. Notice how Ellie is continuing her run through her catch. If someone tries to come in for intercepting that, she's able to get it, get in front of them, able to deny that pass. Now she's going left, same concept, left. Notice how she's not wrapping her stick all the way around when she cradles the ball or when she goes to catch the ball. Right out in front, bringing it back, 1 or 2 cradles, sending it back. The next one that we're going to go over is going to be throwing. So we want to understand that there's a time and a place for different types of throws. We can do off the hip throws, sidearm throws. We can get in here and do nose breaker throws. Right now we're trying to get one fluid motion going, bringing our stick back and driving it forward. Okay, so when we're just doing a typical throw, we want to make sure that our bottom hand is all the way down. We want to make sure that our top hand is about halfway to 3/4 of the way up our stick. And we want to incorporate our hips and our shoulders and our arms all at the same time. So when your athlete's going to throw, I got the ball here. I want to keep the ball in the upper portion of my stick. I want to be here. I want to be in one straight line all the way back, meaning I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. One straight line all the way back. So this is what it should look like when we're starting. Now, I like to teach what I call is the punch out, pull down motion. We're punching out, we're pointing the butt end of our stick at the person we're throwing to. We're punching it out and we're pulling down and we're snapping to that opposite side, similar to the concept of throwing a baseball, okay? So when we're doing this, we're gonna be standing here. My hips are facing the bleachers over here. My shoulders are facing the bleachers over here. And when I bring my hands forward, my hips, and I take a step with my left foot, my hips and my shoulders come through as well. And that's where you get the power, and that's where you actually get better accuracy as well. We want to make sure that when we're throwing, you want to correct your athletes. If you see them driving and pushing the ball out, if they finish through to the same side, that's not good. We also want to make sure that we're correcting them if they're finishing through. Sometimes you'll see athletes finishing through to their stomach. So I really want to make sure we're instilling that concept of driving through. Let's pull down to that opposite side, and let's break some of these bad habits. Good, straight line back. There you go. There you go. Okay, the next one we're gonna go over is gonna be ground balls. Now, ground balls are usually 50-50 balls, meaning whoever wins the 50-50 balls, the majority of them usually wins the game. So ground balls are very important. So we wanna make sure that we're having good form. We wanna make sure that we're getting low, we're running through the ball, we're not stopping as we go to pick up the ground ball. In fact, we wanna be accelerating through the ground ball. I tell my players to attack the ground ball, don't let the ground ball attack you, okay? So, when we're going through the ground ball, we wanna make sure that our bottom hand here is nearly at the bottom of your stick. Some people like to have them have your hand a little bit up. That's fine, a little bit. I like to have it at the bottom. Now, it's different here. We want to get our top hand very, very high, especially when we're first teaching it. So when I'm going after a ground ball, I want to make sure that if I'm going right-handed up top, okay, I want to step my right foot next to the ball. I want to bring my arms back. I want to bend my knees. I want to have my chest up. I want to have my eyes up and so I can see the field to know what I'm going to do with the ground ball after I get it. Bring my arms back, accelerate through 1 or 2 cradles. My shoulders are over the ball. I'm protecting it out, and I'm protecting it out from other players. So we want to look out for, make sure that we aren't having a ton of space from our bottom hand, or our top and bottom hand lower on the stick. We want to make sure that we aren't popping the ball up. Even if a player does get the ground ball right here, when you get to the higher levels, this is going to get checked. So we really want to make sure that we're running through 1 or 2 cradles out, okay, and we're up and we're protecting the ball. That's ground ball. Nice acceleration, good.
Yeah, ball down.
We got our top hand up, asking for the ball, good. We want to try to get our entire body in front of the ball, even if it's off to one side or the other, really important. And we're accelerating through, good. And we're exploding up. Ellie's bringing the ball right into a protected position, good. And accelerate through, good. And accelerate through, explode. Nice. Awesome job, ladies, that looked great. The next thing that we're going to go over is going to be shooting, okay? So we want to make sure that when we're shooting, we're really incorporating our whole body, because shooting is essentially a harder pass. Now, in order for us to get that power, we got to make sure that we're using correct form. So when we're going to take a shot, we want to have our stick all the way in line back, same concept, not here. We don't want to be here. We want to be driving our stick forward. We don't want to be coming through like this. So we're punching out, pulling down, same concept as throwing. Now, there's a time and a place, once again, if you're in tight in the 8 meter, there's a time and a place, once again, for nose breaker shots, maybe bringing here, doing a sidearm shot. But right now, we're just really trying to work on getting our arms up and away from our body, get a nice fluid motion, pulling down to that opposite side. Make sure athletes are not shooting onto the opposite side and pulling through to the opposite side. Make sure that everything your athletes are doing is also in motion. So I'm receiving a pass, I'm shooting, and I'm taking a couple steps after my shot and making sure that my hips are facing the goal. What also makes a successful shot is a good fake. So we want to make sure that when we're faking, we're not doing what some might say an exaggerated cradle. So this movement right here is very slow and it's very easy for the goalkeeper to read. So instead of just doing an exaggerated fake as a cradle, it's more of like a half moon rock. We're faking to a pocket, okay, we're faking down, we're bringing it high. We're faking high, we're bringing it down. And you can fake with your shoulders, you can fake with your head, okay? But we want to make sure that we're really throwing that fake in and shooting to another pocket, okay? Notice how Ellie is doing what is called a level fake. So she's going to be faking high and then ripping it low. This is very hard for goalies to read, especially if you're close in. Notice how Ellie's taking about one shot. That's a good nose breaker shot right there. She's taking 1 or 2 cradles and she's ripping it. She's not cradling 20 times in front of her face. 1 cradle, fake, shot. Awesome, good job. So on this one, Ellie's gonna fake high and she's gonna shoot it low. So fake high, rip it low, there you go. Next one, Ellie's gonna do a bounce shot here. And then this next one, she's gonna do a sidearm shot just to give you an idea of different types of shots you can do. The next thing that we're gonna go over is good 1v1 defense. So when we're first starting out in 1v1 defense, if I'm a few steps off of my attacker, I don't wanna just go barreling in at her, okay? So I wanna be a few steps off, and these few steps off, I wanna be big, okay? I wanna try to get those knockdowns. If she tries to feed in, I'm gonna try to knock that down, okay? Now, as she starts to engage is when I get a little bit more closed down, okay? So I'm gonna take you through what is called the A, B, C, Ds of women's lacrosse 1v1 defense. The first one is gonna be approach, A. So I'm approaching my attacker. The next one is gonna be breaking my steps down, okay? The next one is gonna be making that body contact. So I'm making that body contact, my forearm to her forearm, okay? And the next one is gonna be directing, meaning I'm telling her where to go with my body, okay? So even though you might be playing defense and 1v1 defense, I like to call this an offensive mind to defense, meaning even though the attack has the ball right now, you have to have the mindset that you as the defender are still in control and you're telling her what to do, okay? So right now, I'm telling Ellie with my body language, how I'm angled out here, that I want her to go out of the 8 meter, or maybe I'm forcing her weak, or maybe I have help over here and I'm forcing her over to this way, okay? So once again, I want to make sure I'm approaching her as Ellie engages. I'm breaking my steps down and I'm meeting her, okay? She tries to go this way, I'm stepping up on her. Tries to go this way, I'm stepping up, okay? So, once again, this is the concept of stepping up. So I'm gonna show you one more time. So go this way, stepping up on her, up. Okay, so come on back. What a lot of defenders do is they allow their attacker to take space from them, okay? You wanna take space away from the attacker, okay? So when I'm going in and making body contact, I want to make sure that I have my arms strong and out. I want to make sure that my top hand is a little bit lower down here. My forearm is strong. I'm not way out here and off balance. I'm not in tight in here. I'm holding her right here. Okay? Now, we want to make sure that we are not what is called opening the gate. Okay? So if Ellie takes a step here, tries to go this way, we don't want to just let her go back. We don't want to just let her do whatever she wants, right? So go back. I don't want to open the gate. Pretty soon, you're right in front of the goal. So, I want to make sure that when we're doing this, we do what is called stepping up, forcing them out. So my hips should essentially be facing, if you're doing this, and this is difficult to do, in a perfect world, my hips are facing the same way the whole time. So she comes here, nice and slow, I'm here, good, up here, and I'm up. She comes back, and I'm up, okay? The last component of that is gonna be, if Ellie has her stick up, I have her stopped. I wanna be mirroring her stick. So she turns it back this way, I'm mirroring her stick. She comes back. Now, you can mirror the attacker's stick without switching hands. And in fact, I recommend that. So you're just moving here, go ahead and go back to here. Okay, to here, to here. Yep. Other things, be loud, intimidate the attacker, and make her not wanna try to get past you. Notice how Sophie is making body contact at Ellie's hips. Good. She's not opening the gate, she's keeping her there. Notice how Sophie is making body contact at Ellie's hip. She's also not dropping her stick horizontally to where it's gonna be illegal. Another component of good 1v1 defense is actually watch the attacker's hips, because the attacker has to go in the direction that their hips are facing. All right, we're good. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna go over is gonna be cradling. So we wanna make sure that when we're cradling, our stick is more flat, horizontal, not vertical, up and down, okay? Remember, we wanna be doing everything from that upper portion of our stick. We also wanna make sure that our bottom hand when we're cradling is all the way down, and we wanna make sure that our top hand is about halfway to 3/4 the way up. We'll also wanna make sure that when we're cradling, we're not cranking our stick all the way around to where your stick is rotating all the way around. Okay, I call it more of a half moon rock. So we're here, rocking it out. My stick is behind my head and I'm protecting it back, and everything is loose. I'm cradling every so often. And remember that your cradle does not have to be as fast as your feet are moving, okay? It's a cradle every so often. So I'm gonna explain to you why we necessarily don't wanna be cranking our stick all the way around when we're cradling. So if I'm feeding from behind, in the process of me rotating my stick all the way around, I'm missing opportunities to feed, meaning I cannot pass the ball if my stick is rotated all the way this way. I can't pass the ball from here. You're gonna be missing opportunities. Other things, if I'm cradling right in front, rotating all the way around, here feeding behind, usually there's gonna be a defender right in front of you, and you might see your athlete sometimes self-check and lose the ball. That's why I want to be here, triple threat position, ready to go. Another reason why we don't want to be bringing our stick, rotating our stick all the way around when we're cradling, is that if there's a defender right in front of me and I'm doing this, all of a sudden I go to pass and I do this, I'm telling the defender exactly what I'm doing, and it's very easy for them to predict the ball. We want to be really loose with it. Want to be half moon cradling out every so often. Okay, notice how I'm not cradling like this the whole time. My feet are in motion. I see a window of opportunity, boom, I take it, she's going to goal. Good. Want to make sure when I'm going to feed the ball that I'm taking a couple steps after. Okay, nice shot. Taking a couple steps after the shot as well. Okay. The reason why, especially feeding behind, take a couple steps after, so I'm right here for a rebound. I'm right here to chase if I need to as well. All right, good job. So the next thing that we're gonna go over is gonna be dodging. So while I explain this, I'm just gonna do a simple face dodge, okay? So my face dodge that I like to do, I like to bring her over, force her to her right side. I take her over to my left side. I get my hips, I get my shoulder, and I get my stick going this direction. And then I explode at 100% out, getting back on that same track, bringing the stick in front and protecting. So when she turns to come after me, she sees my back, the stick is protected, I'm not bringing it back here. So a couple of things. What makes dodging successful is that quick change of direction and quick change of speed. So you don't want to have the same speed, even if it's 100% speed. You don't want to have the same speed throughout the entire dodge. So what I like to do is take them in at 75% and then take them out at 100%. So I'll be in here, take them in at 75, boom, I'm back around and getting back on that track. Now, we want to make sure that we are breaking our steps down a few feet from the defender, okay? Because we don't want to start breaking our steps down right when we're on top of the defender. That's going to be a charge on you, okay? Good. So we also don't want to do the dodge too early. So we're doing it right here, and she's just looking at me like, okay. So we want to make sure that we're really breaking our steps down a few feet here, and you're nearly brushing off that defender, okay? Getting back on that same line. So I really like to teach these dodges literally using a line like this, and I'm going to show you why it's super important. So I want to make sure that we use this line, meaning if I do the dodge, okay, and I'm bringing her here, I don't want to fade out here, because all Sophie has to do, good, is meet me at an angle now, okay? Good, so let's bring it back. Super important last two components is when you throw that dodge, I'm bringing her here, I'm stepping back on that line, I'm protecting my stick down, okay? And that's how we do the dodge. Okay, just going through here. Good. I'm bringing here. So Sophie and Ellie are gonna take us through the three different most common types of dodges. And the first one that they're going to start with is going to be the face dodge. Good, back on that same line. Good, brushing off my shoulder. Good, I'm faking here. Good, getting back on that line. Good. Getting back on that same line, faking with more than just their stick. The next one they're going to go over is going to be the split dodge, where you're actually switching hands. All right, go ahead. Good. And notice how when Sophie and Ellie are doing this, they're faking with their entire body, not just their stick. So they're throwing their weight in one direction, their hips are going in one direction, and they're coming out the next direction. Good, back on that line. I'm here. Good. Faking here. Good, back on that line. Good. All right, so this last one is going to be the roll dodge. Okay. Good, back on that line, good. And you should be hitting me. Good, there you go, back on that line. Good, back on that line, good. Brushing off me. If you're doing a good dodge, you should definitely be making body contact with the attacker, but not in a way that you're shoving them around. All right. The next thing that we're gonna go over is probably one of the most important aspects of the game. You'll hear a lot of coaches say, if you win the draw, majority of the draws, you're gonna win the game, okay? So the draw can be taught in many different ways. This is the way that I like to do it and teach my athletes, okay? So I like to be in an athletic stance. I like to have 1 foot up, 1 foot slightly back, okay? I like to have my hips underneath me, my chest is up, kind of along the same stance as I would if I were to take off here on a sprint. Now, the draw is gonna start like this. Come on, Ellie, come on in. And we wanna make sure that my arm is not flat like this, okay? You really want to, what I call, get underneath the ball right here. Good. Now, this is why. I don't have a lot of power if I'm just pulling up with my bicep and my forearm here, okay? But if I get my elbow underneath, I can really pull the ball up with my entire body and drive that elbow up, okay? Now, even though we're working on power right then and there, That is not what wins the draw. That is what helps you direct the draw. What wins the draw is their fast wrist movement, forward movement, okay? So you wanna win the ball on the back side of your stick, meaning when we get the ball set up right here, okay, we wanna do a scrape, this scrape and turn motion, okay? So I wanna get underneath it, the ball goes up, and I wanna turn, and I wanna win the ball on the back side of my stick. So it's gonna be a motion of pulling and scraping, okay? We do not want to just power the ball back, okay? And remember that in everything we do, okay, in every draw that we do, the draw has to go up and over our head, okay? So when we're doing this, okay, if the ref happens to be in front of me while I'm doing this, yes, have your eyes on the ref. If the ref backs up behind me here and the whistle goes, you're gonna have to go by ear. If the ref's in front of me, go by eyesight, okay? So let's say the ref's behind me, the whistle goes. I'm just listening and I'm pulling up, okay? So while we're doing this, okay, and the draw goes up, I wanna make sure that I'm exploding with my legs, okay? I'm using my wrist to crank the ball forward. I'm scraping it out, okay? And I'm doing this all in one motion, okay? Now, we wanna make sure, thank you, we wanna make sure that we are not putting a ton of pressure into Ellie's stick, okay, into the other player's stick. And I'll show you why. If we wanna win the ball on the backside of our stick, okay, and I'm shoving the ball into her stick, all Ellie has to do is turn her stick. The ball is gonna sit right here, she's won it, okay? So remember, we wanna give light pressure on the ball, okay, light pressure, and we wanna turn here, scrape, pull it back, okay? I'm gonna take you through the different ways to help you direct the draw and put it where you want to. So we're gonna go through doing this, the most common draw, which is the pull draw. So if we're set, okay, we're first gonna do the most common way, which is I'm trying to draw it behind me, okay? So on the count of 3, we'll go, 1, 2, 3, we'll pull up, we're exploding up, we're pulling straight back, okay? Obviously, when we're doing this in real time, it'll be much faster. And then the next one, we're gonna try to self-draw, meaning I'm gonna try to get after it myself. I'm punching it straight up in the air. I can then go on to the ball, okay? So self-draw on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, okay? I'm pulling straight up and I'm going after the ball there, okay? The next one that I'm gonna do is very hard to do, but it's super effective if you have a teammate who can run onto the ball, but it's called drawing the ball down the line. And when you're drawing the ball down the line, it's nice to have your foot, this right foot a little bit more up so you can put your weight on your right foot here. So when we're drawing down the line, we're right underneath it, okay? On the count of 3, we're gonna draw down the line, 1, 2, 3, and I'm punching it out, scrape, turn, putting the ball out, winning it on the backside. A teammate who has an extra step, knows it might be going that way, is gonna have a really good chance of getting it because you're getting it out into space where usually nobody is. And the last one is very hard to do. I've seen a couple of extremely talented players do this. I've never been able to do it. And this is drawing it forward from this position where I've actually seen players be able to draw it straight through. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, right, pop it, punch it out. Good. Start pulling it here and sending the ball, winning it on the backside, flipping it out, actually forward. So there we go. All right, here we go. Putting the ball in the upper portion of our stick. Good. We're flat here. We're flat here. I don't feel too much pressure. Good. All right. Ready. Nice. Ellie, we just did the pull draw. So now we're going to do self draw. Okay. Ellie's going to self draw it straight up and get after it. All right. Here we go. All right. So I'm setting the ball. Ball's in their upper portion of the stick here. Upper portion of the stick. They're both in an athletic position. They're not sitting too low. They're not super high up here as well. Okay, their sticks are in line. They're not tilted up too high. They're not tilted low. Okay, they're level. I don't feel a ton of pressure here. Ellie is going to self-draw, meaning she's trying to punch the ball straight up off this draw and capture it herself. All right, here we go. Ready? Nice. So this last one that we're going to show you is going to be drawing down the line, meaning we're here and Ellie's trying to punch it out, pull it down this line right here. It gives the center an extra advantage if she can get it out into space where she can run onto it, or if her teammate knows that she's drawing down the line and has an extra step as to where the ball is going. So it's an extremely difficult draw to do, but once you get it down, it's super effective. All right, here we go. Ball's in the upper portion of your stick. Like I said, athletic stance. All right, we're good. I don't feel a ton of pressure. That's great, but it's enough to keep the ball in, and we're set. We're ready to go. Here we go. Ready? Yes! Beautiful. Good.
That was not you, that was me.
Yes, it was Ellie. Good job. And this is a really awesome stick work routine for new players, and it just slowly builds up. Some people might ask why we do stick tricks and different stick work routine, and I like to say that it's the same concept as why a soccer player might juggle. It's all ball control, getting comfortable with the ball, feeling the weight of the ball in your stick, and just really getting that momentum down.
So you guys got that one more time, right?
Yeah.
We can clean up those parts.
So here's a stick work routine to really break down your form when you're just catching and throwing, helping your athletes get their hips incorporated, their arms, their upper body incorporated while using correct form, okay? So we're first gonna go with our right hand up top. We're only gonna go right-handed, okay? So we're gonna bring our stick back, make sure our stick is going forward. I'm driving it through, and I like to snap down to the opposite side. Some coaches will have you tuck it right here. You can do that as well, but I'm gonna teach you to snap it down and through, okay? So when we're doing this, okay, like I said, stick is straight back. I'm taking a step, and I'm bringing it down and through. Good. And you're catching it one-handed as well, okay? So I'm here, stepping down and finishing through the opposite side. Nice and easy. Here, opposite side. So I'm really working on cradling it back, getting that ball control. I'm bringing my hips here, sliding forward. Good. Bringing my hips here, stepping forward. Really stepping into it, working on that ball control. As you get better at this, you can really be on the move and really attack the ball back in a triple threat, and then get the ball moving. All right, cool. Okay, the next progression is now gonna be we're releasing our top hand and we're just incorporating our bottom hand. So go slow on this because it comes out pretty fast, okay? So we're starting with the same concept. Triple threat position, I'm stepping forward, I'm bringing my hips, I'm bringing my shoulders through with my stick, okay? Only when I get to this point right here, I'm releasing my top hand and I'm pulling down to the opposite side and through. Okay, when we're doing this, we want to make sure we're punching it out, release, pull down, okay? This is really going to help your athlete understand that punch out, pull down motion, opposed to just throwing it, trying to catapulting it, okay? So, we're going to do this nice and easy, okay? I'm going to step into it, snap down to the opposite side. You're good. You got all my talking though, right? We're good, cool. Catching with two hands on this one, just nice and easy. Sorry, I threw that a little fast. Good. Here, stepping into it. Good. Make sure that every time before we go to throw, that our stick is straight back. If it's cranked out here, we have to turn here to get it back on track, okay? So stepping, release, pulling down to the opposite side. Awesome. It's the next component. Okay. Okay, so this last component of this is gonna be our no cradle drill, where we're adding the first one we did, okay? We're adding the second one we did, okay? And we're putting it into one. So I'm bringing it back in a triple threat position, I'm driving the butt end of my stick forward, and I'm just throwing and pulling down to the opposite side. When I go to catch the ball, I'm asking for a target route in front. I'm catching it and bringing it back without cradling. So this is really helpful for athletes to get comfortable with the ball. We should not have to rely on cradling like this to keep the ball in our stick, okay? We should feel comfortable with the ball, necessarily be able to cradle at every position without cranking the stick and cradling the whole time, okay? So we're gonna be here, driving the stick, pulling down to the opposite side. And then we're no cradle back, and then we're going. Good. No cradle back, and then we're going. This is really gonna help your athlete be comfortable with the ball. We're not cradling at all for the duration of it. Even if it goes one side or the other, we're just keeping it here. I'm extending my arms here, and getting it going. Now, as you get more comfortable with this, you can start to do everything on the move. Obviously, we're a little bit more stationary with this, okay? But as you get a little more comfortable, go ahead. We can do everything is on the move, and we go. And no cradling throughout the whole thing. I cradle a little bit there. All right, we're good. All right, so it's really important for our athletes to be doing everything in the upper portion of their stick. And in order for us to be able to do everything in the upper portion of our stick, meaning, you know, cradling, throwing, shooting, and running with our stick, we have to have a good pocket. A lot of times players become extremely frustrated because they don't have an upper pocket of their stick and they start dropping it and they drop it. So we can really help our athletes and our players by helping them create a nice pocket in the upper portion of their stick, which is called the sweet spot of their stick. So we want to make sure that when we're doing this, these two strings right here are called the leathers. Sometimes they're not leather. Sometimes they're just regular strings. But what we can do for that is we can tighten these strings right here. So if I pull back on here, okay, and I tighten those strings, all right? And obviously you would tie them better before a game. And you tie those strings off. And now this mesh part, they actually came out with new mesh. Not all sticks look like this for the women's stick. If this mesh is a little bit deeper, then if I punch this through, it creates almost like this little cavern for the ball, okay? And these two leather strings will kind of hug the ball around it. And it's gonna keep the ball in that upper portion of your stick and create a nice pocket for you right there, okay? You can also loosen up the strings on the top portion of your stick, but this will force the ball up into your athlete's pocket to where they can now cradle. Everything is in that upper portion of their stick, okay, and catching, all right, opposed to having the ball all the way down at the base where you don't want that. So now remember, you gotta have the ball, the ball has to be showing the entire time of the stick. So the ball cannot be below this plastic, okay? But your stick should actually become more legal as you go to the base of the stick. So you should see more of the ball as you go to the base of the stick, okay? More of it. And you should see less of it in the upper portion where the pocket is. And that's really gonna help you be able to catch and throw and shoot and just really be ready to go to do anything from the sweet spot, the upper portion of your stick. So that's gonna be really helpful to your athletes. All right, well, thank you so much for watching today. There's tons of resources for you on uslacrosse.com. Also, this new app called Mobile Coach. I really hope that you learned something new today, and good luck this season.